Welcome to another TechVid. Today, you'll learn how to monitor and review reports and set up alerts with the new Sophos DMARC Manager. This add-on for Sophos Email delivers comprehensive DMARC management capabilities, providing domain visibility, SPF and DKIM alignment, automated policy enforcement, and domain scoring. This is the second video in our two-part series. Part 1 gives an overview of the DMARC Manager and demonstrates the setup process, so make sure you watch that before continuing. The link is in the description. Let's dive in. In this tech vid, I'll show how to monitor reports using the DMARC Manager. Then I'll demonstrate how to review reports and how to investigate them to diagnose problems. Lastly, I'll show how to configure alerts. Before starting, ensure you have admin access to Sophos Central and your DNS Manager. A Sophos Central DMARC Manager add-on license for email advanced, and a list of existing and known senders using your domain. Lastly, you must have a validated domain in gateway or mailflow mode. For more information, refer to the documentation linked in the description. Let's get started. Once reports and data have been received, you may view a summary under DMARC Manager. This displays the domain score, DMARC compliance, email volume, and source. The date range extends to the last 365 days and may be adjusted to the time frame you're interested in. If recent changes have been made to your DNS records, it's recommended to search in 1 to 2 week increments to get the most accurate and current representation. From here, you'll get a summary into your DMARC compliance, volume, and compliance by each day, where those emails are being geographically sourced, and a breakdown of the top senders. For further details and even more robust reports, select Manage DMARC. From the DMARC Manager portal, go to Domains. Here, you can make the necessary adjustments after receiving and analyzing reports. I'll go into more detail on what some of those changes may be and the analysis later. The domain score is calculated from multiple factors and consists of 3 major sections. Impersonation, which includes SPF, DMARC, and DKIM, accounts for 80% of the total domain score. Marketing, which includes BIMI and accounts for 5%. And lastly, privacy, which includes TLS-RPT and MTA-STS, accounts for the remaining 15%. Don't worry if you're not at 100%, as this is dependent on several factors. During the onboarding stage, this score likely won't be achieved if you followed the steps so far. For a detailed breakdown on how this is calculated, refer to the link in the description. Note: changes to your policies aren't immediately reflected in the domain score, so check again the next day for the latest calculation. Next, I'll show you how to review reports. From your DMARC Manager portal, navigate to your dashboard to observe your reported senders. Here you can see your domain scores, total reported email volume, and the number of approved versus unapproved senders in the main reports. The section below gives a list of the email volume and their compliance percentages for your approved senders. For more information, click View Report for your domain. This takes you to the Email Senders page and gives both approved and unapproved senders in more detail. From here, it's recommended you manually review the senders list to confirm which ones are legitimate to help you identify the various senders accurately. You should categorize the senders, but this must be done manually. There are 5 selectable categories. None is the default category. This is for any email source that hasn't been categorized yet. Also, any new email sources that show up over time will be set to none in your reports. Approved is for known email sources that send emails for your organization's domain and will be listed in your authorized senders report. They're usually the same senders that are listed in your domain's SPF record. Forwarder relates to email sources that forward your messages automatically. This happens with mailbox rules or distribution lists. For scenarios where DKIM passes but the sender isn't in your domain's SPF record, these emails show up as forwards with a gray bar. Suspicious is for email sources that may come from a sender, place, region, or country known for suspicious activities. Use this to mark any unknown or potential malicious senders in your account for further investigation. Lastly, the unapproved category is for email sources that aren't allowed to send emails for your organization's domain. For more details on each category type, refer to the links in the description. Note: categorizing the various senders is purely for monitoring and administrative purposes. It doesn't influence the action, but helps you identify suspicious activity. You may select the individual senders in the list to get a breakdown of various results to help you investigate. Next, I'll look at this report as an example by selecting the specific IP address. Here, you can see one of the emails failing DMARC, so I'll select that IP address to investigate further. Here, the volume dictates how many emails were sent from the respective IP address. The report also shows the compliance and deliverability percentage. Blacklists specify when the IP was listed by a real-time black hole list, or RBL. If this is an external provider's IP address, like Sophos, Microsoft, Google, etc., you can generally ignore these, as they're IP pools used by thousands of organizations. It's expected that IPs you don't own or manage may have entries listed here, so no action can be done here and is primarily for informative purposes. However, if this was an IP address or infrastructure you manage and/or own, you can make any necessary delisting requests. The following gives details on who the sender is and the host origin. Switching to the Reporters tab gives a list of emails that were sent, including the sender and recipient details to help you understand how or where emails were sent. The details in this section are not always complete, as it depends on what is sent by the reporters. To gather even more details, select the Results tab. These will help you identify exactly what went wrong. In this case, you can see that the email failed DMARC due to SPF failing and DKIM not being aligned. Hovering over the red X also shows the details for the failure. Use this information to investigate or adjust records. In my case, as these are coming from the expected IPs and domains, I'll make sure this wasn't forgotten under the SPF settings. Navigate back to the DMARC settings. Ensure the SPF record is updated with any missed directives. Other reasons may include missing DKIM keys or failing to verify signed emails or alignment. Once a change has been made to the record, wait another 48 to 72 hours. Then, verify the new reports and repeat this process until you're happy with the sender rates and volume. Next, update the DMARC record policy to Reject or Quarantine. Then click Save. Finally, under the DKIM tab, set testing mode to Disabled. Then click Save. Monitoring and report delivery are now configured. Lastly, I'll demonstrate how to configure alerts. After successfully configuring your reports, set up your alerts to quickly identify and act if something changes in your environment. Under the DMARC Manager portal, go to Alerts and configure the desired recipients for alerts you wish to monitor. For some alerts, you can configure the frequency of delivery. The option will be visible if it's available. If the event is triggered, it will be sent to all defined recipients, so you may launch investigations or investigate if anything has changed. You've now successfully configured alerts. And that completes the configuration of reports and alerts for the Sophos DMARC Manager. I hope you found this useful. The relevant documentation and other comprehensive resources for this tech vid are linked in the video description. Join the Sophos community to stay up to date with our products, ask questions, and have your questions answered by Sophos experts. And go to Sophos TechVids for more expert tutorials to help you maximize your products and stay secure. See you next time.